Hey y'all, this is AL Big Madame, and I'm coming at y'all with a review. Now, what I'm reviewing is American Horror Story. This is season 8. I don't know if any of y'all are into this, but I have been into it since it first came out. I've literally seen all of them. I enjoyed all of them. I had some that were more favorites that I liked and I enjoyed watching. And it was funny because when I would ask other people their opinion about which ones they liked, they would say that they liked ones that I was like, doggone, I thought you would like this one more than that one. Like, I really liked Freak Show. I liked the first one because it set the tone. I loved Coven. Um, so yeah. The only one that I really was kind of like a little bit for was the last one because it actually did the most with all that political stuff. It was very extra. And I just got to a point where I was side-eyeing a whole lot. Anyway, again, this is American Horror Story Season 8, Episode 1, which was entitled The End. Oh, I'm sorry. This is American Horror Story Apocalypse. This is what the actual season is called this time. Lord. Y'all. When I tell you 5 minutes in, even less than that, I was just sitting there the whole time like, what? Like every time. It was just too. All right, y'all, let me just get into it because I'm going to just be clutching my pearls all day if I don't. So, y'all, it come on, and this woman who I think she was in the last one playing the wife of one of the people who got killed in their homes. Like every time I see her in something, she's usually annoying, and she's annoying on this. So they casted her right for this. I cannot with her. I'm just gonna tell y'all now. I don't really know nobody's name yet. So if I ever pick anybody's name up, I'm gonna have to start actually remembering these people's names because I just was so taken aback by all the stuff that was happening. I ain't have time for all that. It was just too much. So anyway, come on. And this woman is in a hair salon getting her hair done by a gay stylist, which is the guy who, what's his name? Evan Peters, I think is what his name is. That's his real name, I think. And her daddy ends up calling her. And even before that happened, y'all, everybody is getting this alert on their phone. And it's basically saying that there are missiles that are aimed towards Los Angeles, California. And so old girl was like, y'all, that's fake news. Watch, in a few minutes, somebody gonna send a retraction. It's a lie. It's a lie. So then everybody just keeps getting these notifications. And so they're looking like, this is not funny. What is going on? So anyway, her daddy calls her and they, FaceTime her. And so he was like, look, honey. She really was like, look, Dad, I can't talk to you right now. And trying to get off the phone. He was like, look, forget all that. You need to listen to me. That alert that you're getting is real. You need to not ignore it. What you got to do is get to the airport. Got a plane there waiting on you. It has 4 seats that have been paid for. And we're not going to make it because apparently his wife, and I guess his 2 brothers, I guess her 2 brothers, they all were in Hong Kong on vacation or something. And so they were like, yeah, we ain't gonna make it. And so she's just looking like, what? Like, what you mean we ain't gonna make it? So she was like, her dad was like, look, just go ahead, go over there, get there as soon as you can. We got a driver coming, all that stuff. Get there and leave. This is not a drill. So apparently, this missile was going to come and hit and obliterate everything within an hour. So, meanwhile, her hairstylist the whole time, he's looking like, what's going on right here? Okay. Anyway, fast forward, everybody starts panicking and the news is on and talking about how it's all real and I'm not going to be able to make it home. So if my kids are watching, I just want to tell you I love y'all and all this other stuff. And I was just like, what? How we just gonna start off with people dying and getting killed by a missile? So I'm just like, okay, where's this going? Anyway, they keep going back and forth between the girl being driven to the airport. Of course, everybody has gotten these random text messages, all these alerts on their phones, the TVs. And so they're all rushing, trying to get to the airport, trying to get out of town, all this stuff. So everything is basically blocked up. So all kinds of crazy stuff is happening while she's trying to get there. Man, the driver that eventually got tired of his spirit, he had set up there, ran somebody over, and he ended up eventually making it to the airport within enough time for her to board and do what she need to do. So old girl has a boyfriend, a man friend. I don't know if they have an agreement of some sort where she was like, hey, you please me, or you be my arm candy. I don't know what their situation is, but she was like, look, I need you to get to the airport. There's a plane waiting on us. And, you know, she told him this before she left the hair salon. So he was like, okay, I'm leaving the house right now. Cool. So anyway, she's at the airport now. And so he's looking like, okay, I'm stuck in traffic. This traffic is just so bad. I'm trying to get there, whatever. It gets to the point where she's like, you need to hurry up. So dude realizes traffic is not going nowhere. He was like, all right, I'm getting out. This man starts running, trying to get to the airport. So meanwhile, the hairstylist pulls up. Keep in mind, wait a minute, let me rewind. First of all, old dude set it all the way off. He overheard her conversation earlier in the hair parlor when she was talking to her daddy and how he had all these tickets paid for. And literally, she only had herself and her assistant, which was at the actual hair salon as well with her. Like, she does every little thing. Like, she does not open her doors. She literally does nothing except be on her phone. So anyway, the ticket was gonna be for her, her assistant, and her boyfriend. And so old dude then pulled up, the hairstylist to pull it up. He was like, look, she was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, look, we ain't got time for that. This dude that went home, got his grandmama. I don't know how, I'm trying to figure out how you had time to leave the shop. You left the shop and went home. And all the while he was trying to get home, he was calling his grandmama. She wouldn't answer the phone, whatever. It was so bad that when he went to go get his grandmama, her housekeeper was like, yeah, I ain't got time for this. And so she was like, what are you doing? She was like, this is the end of the world. I have to go home and be with my family. And so she was just like, yeah, okay, no. Like, she was not here for nothing. Evan Peters trying to explain to her, like, look, the world is about to end. We might be able to get away if we leave now. And so she was like, oh, no, that's fake news. And I mean, this woman is old. I was like, how you know? How you know about fake news and all this other stuff? This woman has so much money that she was like, let me call Donald. This woman referenced Donald Trump. She didn't say his last name, but that's what she was talking about. I was like, y'all doing the most. She was like, this is fake news. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to call Donald. I was like, ma'am. I was so tired. So anyway, he eventually like snatched her up out the house. And like I said, I do not understand how he made it. First of all, he left the salon and went got his grandmama. And then he got back into traffic and made it to the airport. All the woman's boyfriend had to do was leave the house and go straight to the airport. So basically, 4 people were there. 4 people got on the plane. Well, before all that happened, people started realizing that that was the only plane that was there, and they was rolling up. I'm talking about the people that be on the tarmac and all that stuff. All them people started rolling up out of nowhere. Man, the driver set it all the way off. He started killing people. Had a handgun, started shooting people in the head and all this other stuff. One of them like really went rogue, and he thought he had shot the dude in the head, and he had like hit something that was sitting on his head, knocked that off, shot that off, but then old dude tried to attack him or whatever, and he ended up shooting him in the head. Like, it was, like, it really was the most. I was like, Lord, this don't make no sense. So anyway, they board the plane, and everybody is still trying to make sense of this, but then they end up pulling out. They finally pull out, because old dude had to convince her that he ain't gonna make it. They finally pull out. They in the sky. All you see is this bright light in the distance out the windows because the missile has hit Los Angeles and obliterated everything. Everybody got killed. So I was just like, wow, y'all did the most. The intro hadn't even come on yet, y'all. The intro hadn't even come on yet, if I'm remembering that part right. I was just like, y'all did the most. So then after the intro comes on, they had the nerve to be like, okay, like 40 minutes before the missile hit, they showed this guy who was nervous and in his feelings, and he was talking to his mama, and he was like, I really want to get in. So he wanted to go to, I think he wanted to go to UCLA or something like that. He wanted to go somewhere, he wanted to go to some college, UCLA or somewhere. Anyway, and his mama was trying to convince him to not be nervous and all this other stuff. He's like, well, what if I don't make it? What if I don't get in and all this other stuff? Because he's trying, you know how most kids are, they want to please their father. Their father has high hopes for them. They have all these expectations. And so he's worried about what his dad is going to think if he don't make it. And so his mama was like, well, if you don't make it in, then they don't know what they're missing. So 3 o'clock hit. So his little brother was like, it's 3 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock. So they look online to see if they accepted or rejected him. He ended up getting in. He's excited. Everybody's happy. And of course, the celebration was interrupted because their daddy came in the house. And so they all happy. And he was like, haven't y'all been watching the news? And all this other stuff. He done turned the TV on, and he basically is showing what we saw earlier, which was the news anchor saying that a missile is coming to Los Angeles. It's coming. It's going to kill them. It's an apocalypse. And that he wanted to tell his kids goodbye. So I'm not telling this to y'all again because I'm just fumbling and bumbling like I normally do. This literally is what happened because they ended up rewinding it to like 40 minutes prior. And I was just like, what? Why? So anyway, everybody is like, the mama is freaking out. She was like, oh my God, there has to be something we can do. There has to be a cellar that we can go in. There's somebody's basement we should be able to go into. Like, she's really panicking and crying. And the husband was like, everything gonna be all right. Then all of a sudden, I was like, I know not. So like a Humvee or something like that, it's a military vehicle, pulls up outside of their door. And I'm like, really? So somehow they gonna get saved. No, them people asked to come in the house. They came in the house and they was like, yeah, we need to take your son or whatever. And so they was looking like, what you mean you need to take him? It was like, basically, he has special kind of DNA that is proven that he would survive this apocalypse, but they only want him. And so they're looking like, what do you mean? Why can't you just take all of us? Then their parents got so desperate, they was like, look, you could take his brother too. And they were like, no. And then the guy was like, well, how would you even know about my genetic makeup and all this other stuff? And he was like, because you submitted something to an ancestry website and they have his DNA from that. And that's how they have his genetic markers and all that stuff. So that's how they know that he really does fit that description of whatever they're looking for. So the boy was like, well, if my family can't go, then I don't want to go. And then they were like, that's not an option. They had people come up in there, set it off, and kind of, yank him and be like, yeah, what you finna do is come with us. And so, his daddy had already started to see the handwriting on the wall. Was like, son, just tell your mama and your brother goodbye, hug them goodbye. And he just went on ahead and accepted his fate. So I was just like, wow, y'all doing the most. Oh yeah. And I love it's this black guy. I can't think of what his real name is. I was shocked he was in this, but I always love him as an actor. Anyway, I'll think about it probably before I do the review for the next episode. Anyway, they take him, and where they were supposed to be taking him is to this area, this fallout shelter type of situation that would withstand what's going to happen, and people are there that are just like him. So, what they could do. Anyway, they go back to the girl again, and they're trying to figure out, how is this possible and all this other stuff. And literally, like, all this stuff that happened when she was on the phone with her father, she basically saw them, like, basically dying in front of her because, since they're ahead of us, they did these specific areas where they were doing missiles first. And I don't know if it was the time zone was the reason, but yeah, she basically saw all of them die in front of her on the what they call it, because I don't have an iPhone. I said it earlier, just fine, whatever it is when they talk on the phone to each other. So anyway, so the guy ends up getting walked in to the place. And upon walking in, they make a point to have these two people off in the distance. And they were like these younger kids that might be like around his age, teenagers. And they were begging, and the one guy was like, please, she didn't mean to do it, whatever. And then one of the people just kills both of them. I was just like, what is going on right here? Dude, like, breaks down, and there was this girl who walked in with him too. We didn't know who that person was. I don't know who that was. But anyway, eventually they get in there, and you have this situation where they kind of get all the I guess contamination possibilities off of them with some kind of steam thing they did with them. And they did all that, and then they ended up taking them to this little area where they kind of get locked away into this room or whatever. And so he came in there and he saw this black girl in there, and he was like, well, did you submit your stuff to an ancestry website too? And so she was like, all I know is I was in jail, and basically she said she was basically in jail asleep, and then she woke up there. And so some random person, another person that was there was like, they got your DNA from when they did all your stuff, when they booked you and all this other stuff. So that's how they knew that you fit the description of the people that they were looking for too. So I was like, yeah, I was confused as to how they would have her stuff. So then while they were talking and while they were in there, like, everything starts to eventually shake and stuff because some missiles hit. And, everything withstood what it was supposed to because they were in a fallout shelter. So then eventually the woman, who I think her real name is Sarah Paulson, she's weird in everything that she does, even in some of the normal stuff that she's been in. I don't know what it is. I think that's just her personality. She just always comes off super weird to me. Anyway, she announces who she is and explains like the hierarchy, and she was basically saying that the people who wear purple are elite, and that him and the black girl and all the people that are in there, they're elite, and it's because of their genetic makeup. And then the people who wear like gray or black or something like that, they're the people who are there to serve them, because of course, no matter what's going on, you have to be able to have people who are gonna clean and cook and do all this other stuff and clean the bathroom, all that stuff. And I was just like, but it's like her wording, she made it seem like they were kind of slaves, but of course they're going to be happy to do it because they're not dead. So I was like, okay, that's crazy. Then they have other people that are there that wear a specific color, I guess, because they are rich. So anyway, fast forward to them. She ends up showing them to their rooms, and everybody, they get their own individual room because they are of the elite. So they have specific clothes they have to wear. She told them we have rules. You cannot be late under any circumstances and all this other stuff. So him and the girl, they took a shower, and they put on the clothes that were in the closet for them, and they ended up going to dinner or whatever you want to say it was, because I was just like, no. They had this music playing, and then they end up going over to where the hairstylist and the daughter and his grandmother and some other random people who had already been there, who got there before them, I guess because they were rich. And which was an interracial gay couple, a black guy and a white guy. And they were in there, and I was just like, okay. So they will give everybody's backstory. Okay, cool. So everybody was wondering like why this one song kept playing over and over again. And then it got to the point where they were gonna eat dinner. So then everybody kind of met each other, and the girl whose parent called her and was telling her about needing to get on the plane because that stuff had been paid for and reserved, she got upset because she was like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Why do we have to eat this every night? And basically, I don't know if any of y'all ever saw this movie. What is that movie called? It's a movie where it's basically everybody is on this bullet train, and like everybody who's actually left in all of the world is on this bullet train, and it's all different levels. Like if you're in the back, you're the worst off, and the rich people live up front. Stuff like it. It's still stupidity. Even I'm just tired. Like every show, every movie, they do the same thing. It is so dumb. But yeah, it kind of remind me of the poor people had to eat these blocks of stuff that was supposed to be nutrients and all that. But in actuality, I don't want to spoil it for nobody. I forgot what the name of the movie is. That movie was good. Y'all, the movie was good. I gotta see if I can remember what the name of it is. I think it starts with an S. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. That movie was so good though. I saw it like 2 times. Like for no reason. It was good. But it reminded me that little block that they eat, it's supposed to have like every bit of nutrients that you're supposed to need in your life, like at any meal in it. It's literally like a block. Whether it tasted good or not, everything that you would need is in that block. So the girl got mad. She was like, why I gotta eat this? I don't want to eat this. Whatever. I was like, Lord. Like she really hitched a fit. Something terrible, to the point of where the woman came out of nowhere who, had told people what the rules were before. She came in there, looked at her, slapped the fire out of her, and was like, yeah, so let me make this clear about these rules. And, I was like, Lord, okay, wait a minute. I got to go back just a little bit. So before she got slapped, she said it all the way off. She was like, they paid she said $100 million per ticket or something like that. I was like, what? She either said 100,000 or 100 million or 10 million or 10. I think she said $100 million per ticket. Like it was something like that. I was like, what? Like she said a really crazy high number per ticket is how much the tickets cost. And I was like, what? Like it did the absolute most. She was like, for this price, Chef Gordon Ramsay should have been back there making me an exquisite meal. I shouldn't have to eat this. Like she said it all the way off about them little bitty blocks of food they have to eat. So that's when the woman came out from somewhere and slapped the fire to her. So anyway, y'all, wait a minute. I gotta get a name. I gotta get it. I live for her. I have lived for her my whole life. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Y'all know the woman who was in Misery, the woman who played like she was crazy, the woman who was in Gilbert Grape, all that. I don't know why her name escapes me at this moment. Hoping it comes to me before the end of this video. Anyway, she came from out of nowhere with this little radiation detection machine. And she was like, yeah, there's been some kind of blip on the screen. Somebody must have been trying to sneak out and do something outside that they weren't supposed to do. And so she went around and literally like was scanning everybody like head to toe for radiation. And she made a point to say that if you had even the slightest particle of whatever on you from outside, from the contamination, from the missile strike, the apocalypse stuff, which would be radiation, that it would like do something to your skin. Like even if it's super duper small, it would like erode your skin or something like that. I was like, what? So she did the most, and so she ended up saying that the hairdresser and the white gay guy were the two people who had radiation on them. So they immediately took both of them to this room, like I guess it was like a shower room. They had people who were fully clothed and weren't gonna have any type of contamination get through to whatever they had on. So they had some kind of like hazmat type of prepared suits on. So they sprayed them down, hosed them down, scrubbed them with like these brushes that you would see like somebody, it's like these push brooms, like really, really strong bristled push brooms. They were literally scrubbing them with them. I was like y'all doing the most. They were in there like hollering, scrubbed them down, front, back, butt naked, all that. So then when they were done, they had, dang it, I almost had her name. They had her come in there and she, went over, wanded them again, wanded the guy, Evan Peters, the hairstylist. They wanded him down. She said he was clean. They wanded the gay guy down and she said that he was dirty. So he was like, oh no, I can't go through that anymore. Referring to getting washed down and scrubbed like that. She said, oh darling, you won't have to worry about going through that again. And she shot him in the head and killed him. I was like, ma'am. So this whole time I'm saying to myself, somebody lying. Something in the milk ain't clean. Like, because nobody has left out of this building. Considering what has gone on, who is going to sit up there and say, yeah, let me go outside and roam? This missile just came out of nowhere and completely wiped Los Angeles off the map. So let me go outside and look around and forage for berries or something. Like, I'm just like, who is doing this? Like, I don't see anybody doing that. That makes no sense. So they end up showing her dressed up and going and knocking on the woman who was administering the rules. She's like the person who's like giving the orders and stuff around there. Going and knocking on her door. And so she was like, are you decent? Y'all, I'm sorry, this is bugging me. I want to know I don't know why, and I live for her. I don't know why her name escapes. Kathy Bates, before I even saw it, y'all. Kathy Bates. As soon as I hit the thing, I was about to look and see what it was. Kathy Bates, I live for her. Get my entire life. That woman is everything. If that woman was to die today, I'm crying real tears. I live for her. Anyway. I'm serious. But anyway. So Kathy Bates went over there and went to her room and was like dressed up in purple and had on this dark lipstick. Let me make a point to say there's no lights. They have everything by candlelight. There's no technology. So, that was a point that was made also early on when they arrived there, that there was no technology. And she said that that's the problem. That was the problem of the old world, basically, that just got obliterated. So she asked her, are you decent? So Sarah Paulson opened the door and she's dressed up. And I was just like, what is going on here? And I know Sarah Paulson, I think she actually is a lesbian in real life, I think, or pansexual or something in real life. So I was like, okay. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't care what nobody say. I lived for the way Kathy Bates' hair was on this show. If you ever saw Orange is the New Black, she kind of gave me the feel of what her hair looked like. I liked it. It was actually pretty cute, considering, Kathy Bates is not a young Thundercat, if you know what I'm saying. So I was like, I'm here for it. I'm here for this haircut. So anyway. So it's like they were doing this like little role play thing. Like I was confused. I'm like, are y'all a couple or what? Because Kathy Bates went and looked in the mirror and was kind of like, I was like, what is, y'all, I'm still confused. I don't know. So then they ended up showing them like playing cards with one another and then discussing what just happened. And so Sarah Paulson was like, so I'm intrigued. How were you able to make it look like somebody had radiation? And she was like, oh, that was easy. And she basically like turned the dial up on it and made it seem like he had all this radiation and all this other stuff. And so apparently Sarah Paulson gets off on people getting killed and the fear they have and them being annoyed by not knowing the full details of what's going on. And I think the name of the people who the operation all of this is supposed to be called is the Collective, or I might be saying it wrong, y'all. I'm sorry if I am. But it's some start with a C. I know that for a fact. It might be called the Collective. But yeah, they do the most. And I cannot. Like, Kathy Bates, her character apparently is ex-military. And so they ended up the conversation ended up going from being almost like, y'all are sick, to Kathy Bates getting serious, because she was like, well, I kind of don't like when you go off script and all this stuff is happening, because apparently she asks Kathy to do these things, to kill these people and all this other stuff. And I'm like, but why though? What is the point of you doing this? I don't understand. And she was like, that's not what our bosses over our heads are telling us to do. They wanted us to seek out these people and bring them here for the new world, or whatever they're going to try to call it for this show. And so that's what is confusing me. Like, I'm having a hard time understanding what in the world all this really is going to be about, because it just seemed like everybody going to die in the end, even though all this apocalypse stuff didn't happen already. So I'm confused. Y'all, so fast forward. So y'all know the girl set it off the other night about the food. So all of a sudden, Sarah Paulson was like, we got some stew that y'all go have tonight. So everybody was excited. It was like, oh, okay. And keep in mind, the black gay guy still upset about his man, trying to figure out what's going on. I actually think this is the same night, because they were doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner at first. So I'm thinking this is dinner time or the next day. And so somebody was eating down, and then it looked like they pulled a tooth out of their mouth, and they were looking at it like, okay, what is this? Then I think the boyfriend or husband, I don't know what their status actually was outside of them being together, he pulled a literal bone that looks like a finger out of his stew. And he was like, we're eating stew. And I think his name was Stu. Like, that was the irony of that particular situation too. I think that's what his name was. And I was just like, he was like, oh my God, you're eating. I think the guy, Evan Peters, found bones in his too that weren't of animals. And like, he kind of spit it out and everybody started panicking. And Sarah Paulson and Kathy Bates was trying to sit up there and be like, that would be inhumane. Why would we even do something like that? That makes no sense. And so I'm just like, you's a lie, because y'all have nothing. Y'all ain't got no hogs and stuff, because y'all know, even if you're not a pork eater, that stuff can just be out and about for the longest without going bad. So wasn't no pork involved. They actually tried to sit up there and say it was chicken, and I was like, you tried it. So the woman who is playing Evan Peters' grandmother, she looks like, what's her name? Liza Minnelli. I actually want to know who this person is, because she looks exactly, I don't see her. She looks exactly like, what's her name? The White Diamonds and stuff. I think that's her. I think that's who it is. That's who it looks like. I think I'm saying the right person. Her name is Joan Collins. I'd be doggone if they had that woman looking exactly like her. I don't know what that woman's name is. It just escaped my memory right then. Liza Minnelli or somebody. I don't know. But the woman who did White Diamond, she definitely, Liz Taylor. I was like, why is this woman looking exactly like Liz Taylor right now? Her hair and everything. She looked exactly like her. So I was just like, but why is we doing this? So, anyway, she's the only one who sat up there and was like, yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about. It tastes like chicken to me. She tore that food down. I was like, ma'am. She's just so unfazed by stuff. Every time something popped off, she wasn't fazed by it. or she was here for it. And I was just like, but why? Something's wrong. Something's off with you. I don't know what it is. But I mean, outside of the fact that she's a Donald Trump supporter and like really close friend of his, you know, on this show, I was just like, ma'am, you're doing the most. So then, black dude is still spazzing out. I want to see his body. Where's Stu's body? And he was like, I don't believe y'all. I think that was his body. Y'all need to show me his body and all this other stuff. You know, of course, they ain't listen to him. And eventually, it got to a point where she told them, she was like, look, y'all over here worried about all this stuff. Everything is supposed to go back to a decent way of life. We have enough food for 18 months. So we gonna be good. Man, I'd be doggone if 18 months go by and they were sitting up there looking like who did it and why. And it had gotten to the point where the woman sat up there at the table and she was like, yeah, so we're going to have to cut back. This going to be our last breakfast. And they had already cut the food in the little block in half to ration that off. So one half for breakfast and one half for lunch. So apparently they had already like cut out, dinner or something maybe. So she had said they only was going to have one meal a day. So then everybody was setting it off like, how are we going to live? How are we going to do any of this? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. So, y'all, the most was happening. Y'all, I'm sorry. I don't feel well. I be going through. I really do. I'm sorry. So, I was just like, okay, so what is really going on? Like, this don't make no sense. Like, they made it seem like the people who are there, who are rich, they funded the organization that is over all this stuff. So if all this money, all these millions of dollars and billions of dollars have been put into this program, why do y'all not have food? I'm sorry. Why y'all ain't got no MREs or something? Yeah, I'm sorry. If I'm not saying that right, y'all tell me. Why y'all ain't got no MREs? Why y'all ain't got no canned goods? Like, somebody could have bought up, like, a Costco, Sam's, what's the other one? All them other places that are like Trader Joe's and other places that are like that could have bought up that amount, those store size amounts of canned goods to at least have canned goods. Now, y'all was doing the most. I understand you ain't got no meat. Could have at least got some canned meat. You could have got some beans. You could have got some fruit in a can. You literally could have got cans, all kinds of canned food. I'm confused that y'all had just random bars of stuff like that. That literally makes no sense to me. I don't understand. But y'all, the most is happening and I'm tired and I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this. So one thing that I did leave out is when they were taking their showers, the guy took his shower, the guy they ended up taking from the house and away from his family. After he took his shower, he went over to the mirror, and you know how the mirror fogs up. His mirror was already fogged up, and so he wiped himself off, dried off. He looked into the mirror, and all you see is 3 6s. Like somebody literally just stood there and had drawn the 6s there. It was fresh, like just drawn there. So everybody's looking. I know I'm looking like. So, are y'all in the depths of hell? Like, what is really actually happening with that? Because that makes no sense to me. Why 666 would be just up there as if someone literally just drew it and he looked around and saw it right then. It hadn't been somebody put that there months ago before it became a fallout shelter and then people started coming there and now it's there. Just a little bit of a hint of it used to be there. Somebody drew it on there to be funny. That's it. It looked like somebody literally just put it there. And then, like, the room seemed like it wasn't how it needed to be. Like, it just seemed like the atmosphere changed also. Like, there was an entity of some sort in there, maybe of the devil, that was in there. You know, this is American Horror Story, y'all. Ain't no telling what's in there. So, something has penetrated their grounds. Something is going on. And Evan Peters set it off when the 18 months was up. And he was like, I don't understand it. This is some bull. We need to leave. This don't make no sense. Ain't nothing happening. You know, when you get fed up and you've just been somewhere and it's kind of like a prison type setup because you literally can't go out. You can't do nothing. And there are rules on top of it. It's like, why we got rules? you know, I understand like don't go outside because of this, but why can't I roam freely if I'm not doing anything that's gonna cause harm to anything? Like some of the stuff that they have these rules for is just dumb. So yeah. Y'all, it's crazy. Don't nobody have time. But anyway, it was kind of like a rise up type of situation. Evan Peters, you know, he led the charge, was like, this is some bull. It don't make no sense. Why we gotta be in here? It's been 18 months. We run out of food. I say we go outside. And so a whole lot, almost everybody was like, yeah, I'm with him. I'm about to go outside. As soon as he said all that, everybody got riled up. And like, he was like really about to start like trying to go out the door. All these alarms went off. All these red lights went off. And apparently something happened and somebody was doing some kind of intrusion type of situation. Come to find out, somebody that is supposedly a representative of the collective or whatever the name of the people are, came in on these horses that had these gas masks on to protect them from the contamination. The person that was in the carriage that the horses was pulling got out, and it was somebody, I think his name was Landon Michaels or Michael Landon or something like that. That's funny. That's the only person whose name I actually remember in this show. It's so sad. But anyway, he got out, and we didn't know if it was a man or woman at first. And so when he went on the inside, he told the people to tend to his horses. So I think it was Kathy Bates and some other random person that went out there. So I was looking like, oh, you doing the most. How you gonna say tend to the animals? And just walked on in. I was like, well, who are you? Like, people be doing the most. So the person went in there. He announced who he is, and she told him who she was. And he was like, you know, I'm from the collective. And he said whatever his actual status was. And he was like, look, I'm here. And what I'm going to do is I'm trying to let you know that 3 other fallout shelters, they got overran, and 3 more. See, I'm confused because I could have swore they said that there were only 3 fallout shelters. Maybe I misheard from the jump anyway. So when he came in and he said 3 more got overran, so that's 6. Then he said something about 3 again, and I was just like, what? Where are all these fallout shelters coming from? Like, what is going on? I'm confused. So anyway, he was like, y'all's fallout shelter is next. And what's funny is there was a carrier pigeon, I guess right before that guy got there. And when they were walking the grounds, the people, the few people, I think Kathy Bates and a few other people who were allowed to walk the grounds, they have all this stuff that they put on. They found the carrier pigeon, and the pigeon was dead or about to die. And they ended up making sure it was dead. They took it off of there. And while they were all in there, she read to them what it said. And they basically said, be vigilant. And I think in that little message that the carrier pigeon had, it said something about how one of the fallout shelters had already become overran. And something is going on. Nobody knows what it is. And I guess it's that entity that penetrated the grounds, as they said. So I don't know what's going to happen, y'all. The most has been happening. That black lady who, I think the person that they're referencing, that the black lady, if y'all saw the Roanoke one, she was the black lady that was in it. Of course, not Angela Bassett. It's this other lady. Every time I see her in something, she normally plays like, I don't want to say it like this and sound like I'm being mean, but that's just the way that the people where I'm from actually say it. She always played like this homely looking woman, and she always looked like she need help and like she just going all the way through. I can't think, but anyway, on the last one, that was the politically driven one, she played this news reporter that kept getting passed over for jobs and all this stuff. So that's the woman I'm talking about. I don't remember what her name was on that one, but one of the people came in and saw her, and they were like, oh, I know who you are. I think the guy who got taken away from his family, he was like, I know who you are. My mama loves you. My mama said that she feels like you're better than Oprah and all this other stuff. And then she made a remark in reference to that. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm intrigued so far. I'm very interested to see where this is gonna go. It's been a bit much already for it to be entitled The End for the very first episode, but I'm gonna try to stick in there. I'm gonna try. And it's too much. I be having so many shows. Cause like this is one other show I want to review. I don't know if y'all would be into it. Excuse me. I don't know if y'all be into it, but I'm gonna try. Some people might be into it because of its connection to something else. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I hope you have a nice evening, a nice night. And if you are in the eye of the storm or the hurricane or whatever the category is now, because last I heard it was Hurricane Florence. I don't know if it went down any more categories. So if you are in the eyes of the storm or the hurricane, I hope that you will be safe. I hope that you've gotten out. Anyway, y'all be safe out there. Have a good evening. Good night.